Last week was the final episode of Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 1, and it left off on quite a cliffhanger. However, in this video, we're going to be talking about potential LEGO Star Wars sets for that Season 1 of The Bad Batch, and there are a lot of potential sets, most certainly ranging from battle packs to potentially even a UCS set, although I doubt we'll be getting any UCS sets based off The Bad Batch anytime soon. If ever, really. If you're unfamiliar with set ideas on my channel, we're going to go through what I think the price, piece count, and minifigures, along with, of course, the build for a certain potential LEGO set could look like. You, of course, can leave your opinions and thoughts for potential future LEGO Star Wars sets based off the Bad Batch Season 1 in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, I just ask you give it a big thumbs up. Oh, and by the way, if LEGO were to release more Bad Batch sets for Season 1, it seems like 2022 would be the time, be it January or the summer wave in August. And if we look at what happened with Season 7 of the Clone Wars, they released sets all the way out over a year after the show originally aired. So there is potential for sets to come out later than you would think, and hopefully we'll see some in January 2022, but in my opinion, it's just more likely we will see more in summer of 2022. Let's get into it. My first set idea here is a battle pack. I'm calling it the new Imperial Battle Pack. Of course, they would probably have a fancier name for it, but at $15 with 120 pieces and 4 minifigs, it's a pretty standard sized and priced battle pack. I think it should have 3 of the new TK Stormtroopers, the newer style Stormtrooper that we saw in the Bad Batch. Of course, you're definitely going to have a new helmet mold with that, unlike what this meme suggests LEGO would probably actually do. LEGO really would need to do a new helmet mold for this particular trooper, and I think it could look really good. And then to go along with that, one of the commandos would have to be in this battle pack, just like we see here walking in the hallway. Getting those 4 figs in one battle pack would be incredible. As far as the build goes, you know how builds go for battle packs. It's going to be a speeder or some type of little bit of scenery with some little walker or something like that. That's my quick and dirty battle pack concept. Moving up the price ladder, we have the $30 price point being filled with an Imperial V-Wing for $30, obviously 250 or so pieces. 3 minifigs in the set, being a V-Wing pilot, a TK trooper just like from the battle pack, or there's a litany of other characters we could also get, but the third figure for me would be the commando that we see that's yellow. I'm gonna get scorched in the comments for not knowing his name. Or do I know his name and I just wanted to make a really bad pun? Anyway, we have had an Imperial V-Wing before, but an updated version would be very welcome given its appearance in the Bad Batch, and it seems to be around quite a bit. Seems to be something they might be using into Season 2, so this is certainly a set that I think is highly likely in the coming year or two. At the $40 price range, we could see something like Cid's Cantina. It's certainly not something that's iconic or important enough, in my opinion, to warrant a bigger set, but at $40, you could get a half-hearted build across and out there with 350 or so pieces and 4 minifigs. That way we could get a Cid minifigure. I also think that Omega could fit well into the set, seeing as she has to stay back a time or two at the cantina. And on top of that, with the final 2 figures, I think Bolo and Ketch, who I wrote down because I didn't know their names until I looked them up. I wrote them down as Cid's Goons, and I feel like that's a pretty fitting name for them. But yeah, those 2 guys there would be spectacular to have in minifigure form. We've gotten similar characters to them before, just not those exact characters, I believe, so we could certainly see that brought in a set like this at $40. Jumping up in price to $70 here, I have Cad Bane's ship. About 600 pieces and 3 minifigs here. I think Cad Bane is a must-have. Toto 360, does he count as a minifig? Does he not? I put him in as one, but honestly, they can include Fennec too, just so that Cad Bane has someone to fight against with this particular set. Plus, they already have a Fennec. It wouldn't be hard for them to just include it. And then, of course, Omega would have to be included in this particular set, and with that Omega figure, I think like the main feature for like the interior part of Cad Bane's ship, other than obviously a cockpit for him to be stationed in, would be a holding cell for Omega. I think that would fit in perfectly. You could have some red bars or like some red translucent plate or whatever to hold her behind, and you can have Toto 360 just kind of hanging out outside of there, or whatever the case is going to be. So I think that could work out very well as a LEGO set, as long as it's kept cheap enough. Moving up $10 more to the $80 price point, I have a Gonk Droid droid buildable character. Affectionately known as Gonky in the show, they could definitely bring this to life as kind of an 18 plus buildable character style set. I think eventually we'll get a Gonk droid buildable character. Will it be the one from the Bad Batch? Probably not, but this is set ideas. Doesn't really have to be something that's definitely going to happen someday, but this would still be very cool for like 700, 800 pieces or whatever, with of course the one minifig, if you really want to call a brick built minifig and a Gonk droid a minifig, but nonetheless, that would be the character included, of course. So something like that would be great to see one of these days. Next up, also at $80 with about 700 pieces and 3 minifigs, a Camino Imperial Attack or Transport Shuttle. You know, those gray shuttles that we see. We'd have Crosshair, of course, in his Imperial uniform, which we've already had, but a repeat couldn't hurt here. And then 2 Elite Squad clone troopers. I wish I could say I would think there would be more figures in a set like this, but I honestly don't, so the figure selection is therefore lacking. Although this would probably be the appropriate set to get a Kaminoan in, so maybe we could get a 4th figure in a set like this as a Kaminoan. That would be awesome to see. I just wouldn't have high hopes of that happening. Of course, the build being the Transporter Attack Shuttle or whatever it is, it would be very similar to the Republic Attack Shuttle Lego set that we got back in 2009. Anyway, moving on, up $10 more at $90, Captain Rex's Y-Wing. And yes, that's expensive for a Y-Wing, but it is a Clone Wars style Y-Wing, so it's more filled in than the other Y-Wings. You're going to have more pieces, more stuff in that particular set, with about 750 pieces filling it out there. It'd have 3 minifigs with Captain Rex, Omega, and Hunter from the one episode where we actually see Captain Rex's Y-Wing here in the Bad Batch. Now, it did appear in Season 7 of Clone Wars, and it was kind of disappointing that we didn't see Rex and his Y-Wing more in Season 1. When I first saw it show up about halfway through the season or whatever, I really thought we would see that a lot more later in the season, but it just didn't end up happening. So fingers crossed, maybe it'll show up more in Season 2, which will incentivize LEGO to turn it into a set, because it's certainly something that I think needs to be made, especially to get a new Phase 2 Rex out onto the market, as those things are going for like $150 new now. Up to $110 with 1,000 pieces and 5, maybe 6 or 7 minifigs. I wrote a lot down for this one. The ATTE. Of course, it would be all grayed out for the new Imperial look, so we wouldn't get much of those red accents that we're so used to with the ATT. For the figures in this one, we would definitely have to have the Senator Avi Singh. 2 of the regular clone troopers would also need to be included in this set. We haven't seen them since like 2014. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. We got to get them somewhere. This would be a great place to start. The Imperial officer that we see giving commands to Avi Singh at the beginning of the episode. Hunter and Tech could also be included, as they help Avi Singh blow through the ATTE's armor to get into the building, or even a GS-8, I think it was the protocol droid that we see also up on the stand next to the Imperial officer woman and the senator, so that could fit in as well. Just a lot of character options for this particular set, but LEGO would probably just narrow it down to like 5 or 6 of those. Anyway, an ATTE would be a very welcome sight, although I don't see it as super likely. It is a really cool possibility for the Bad Batch. My final and most expensive set idea is an Imperial Gunship. At $130, it would of course be a playscale Republic gunship, just in Imperial colors, like we see from one of the final episodes of the Bad Batch Season 1. With about 1,200 pieces making up the set, it would have 6 minifigs with Hunter, Scorch, the White Commando, and then 2 TK Stormtroopers, and then of course a pilot for the gunship. I'm not exactly sure which clone is piloting the gunship, but whatever the appropriate clone trooper for that is would be nice to have in the set. I could also envision some stunning box art with this one, given the planet that it's on. I think it could look spectacular with the gunship kind of flying into the trees surrounding Hunter with the other minifigures. Like, there's just a lot of good options for this particular set, and it could be a very popular one if done right. All that being said, the only Bad Batch set that we have as of now is the Bad Batch Shuttle at $100, with the 5 members of the Bad Batch included. Crosshair, of course, counting as one of those 5, and we're really just missing Omega for the main characters of the Bad Batch. So we will see if that comes to light in 2022, that we get any of these sets. I don't have particularly high hopes that LEGO will make a lot of these sets. As we move into 2022, we'll see how willing LEGO is to make more product on the Bad Batch. If we look at a show like Star Wars Resistance, they made 2 sets based off of it, and that show was completely garbage and nobody watched it. A lot of people have been watching Bad Batch, and there have been some mixed reviews, mostly because there have been like a lot of filler, just kind of mission episodes that I believe people just don't enjoy. But nonetheless, I still think the show is much more popular and is going to continue to be much more popular for years to come, given its obvious storylines that it's going to be drawing into. It left us on a pretty nice cliffhanger at the end of season 1, so it can only go up from where it is now, in my opinion. So I think LEGO would be a real fool not to make at least a couple more sets in the year 2022 for Star Wars The Bad Batch. Let me know if you have any other set ideas in the comment section below. I know I missed some big ones that a lot of people want to see, like a Camino type of set or a Venator. Like, let me know your thought out set ideas for those in the comments below. I just didn't really come up with anything that I thought was worth sharing. If you enjoyed the video and want to see any of these sets made by LEGO, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for more future LEGO content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.